podcast Eligible In, where we feature eligible guests that you can date. My name is Coco, and I am your host. And today we are introducing Azra. Hello, Azra.
Hello.
Tell us just a few surface level things about yourself, pronouns, astrological signs, favorite food, whatever you want. Go
Okay,
for it.
surface level. So pronouns, pretty much they, them, theirs, he, him for sure. Sun sign is Pisces, so I am a fish. I mean, goodness, you said favorite dish?
Yeah, I mean, like, whatever. It's like, just those like surface level first date things that we just get out of the way and then we'll jump into the real shit.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I mean, my favorite is Japanese, actually. I love
Mm,
food, so get me some good sushi.
love that. Yeah. I love Asian food for sure is one of my favorite genres of food. There's just so much diversity even within that. And sushi, yeah, sushi is definitely up there for sure.
Oh,
So, this is something I kind of ask everybody because this is virtual and we have interviewed people from all different places. So, you are located in Chicago, correct?
yes, I'm here in Chicago. I've been here for almost about 8 years. May it'll make it 8 years. Yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. You're almost to that 10-year mark. I feel like 10 years is like, okay, you can like really say you're from here.
Well, I don't know if I'll ever be really at that point of saying I'm from Chicago because I feel like there's a lot of things that do give it away that I'm not from Chicago.
Like what?
I mean, I'm from San Diego, California.
Okay.
So I do feel like, there is a drastic contrast between the West, the Midwest, the East Coast, North and
For sure.
South. So I just feel like maybe my appearance or my style may give it away that I'm not necessarily from Chicago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, now that you say that, it does the vibe your outfit is giving does give like SoCal
Yeah.
vibe, West Coast, which you know what? I love that. I love the West Coast style. It is so unique.
Yeah, yeah, when it wants to be.
Yeah.
Well, sure, when it wants to be, I think I don't really feel like California is necessarily a place where people really get dressed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
There's no seasons there. So, and it's
true.
more climate. So, people don't necessarily wear a lot of clothing there. I prefer to dress. I love seasons. That's one of the reasons why I love Chicago.
Yeah, yeah. No, you good point. Yeah, because when I visit California or any kind of warm or tropical climate place, I'm not really wearing clothes either. I mean, I'm still gonna show up and show out, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's minimal. Yeah, you got more flowy fabrics and, looser fitting stuff. Yeah.
Totally.
So, what made you want to come to Chicago? Was it school, work, just because you closed your eyes and pointed on a map and you said that's where I'm going?
It's you know what? To make a long story short, I mean,
Mm,
pretty much at the core of it was because I couldn't afford to live in California.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's like that for a lot of people in California. So the cost of living pretty much anywhere you go in the US now is just out of control. So
Mhm.
I had to make a quick move. I have in the past lived in Atlanta for a couple of years, and I had the choice to either go back to Atlanta, and then I had a longtime friend of mine at that time from South Carolina who had been living in Chicago for a while, and they had been talking to me for years, like, "Hey, man, like the art community and the culture here, it's so your vibe. Like, you have to get here. You need to be here for this." And the opportunity came around, and I took the chance on moving to Chicago for my first time, and it was just up since. Ever since
Mhm.
the pavement here. So, Chicago is definitely my favorite city in the US. that I've lived in and, traveled in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely got a special vibe here. I mean, everybody talks about, Chicago summers. They're even myself, like, truly, they're unbeatable. There is an energy shift, and you can, like, feel it. It's tangible. The mood shift is tangible, probably because our winters are just so fucking crazy. The seasonal depression here goes.
It gives Europe for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I understand why. I studied abroad in England around this time. It was like the technically like the spring semester. And I was like, yeah, I get why y'all are the way you are. Morose.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. When that sunlight's not hitting certain areas, yeah, it does something to you for sure.
Yeah, you really gotta keep up with the vitamin D.
Honestly and truly. Honestly and truly. Yeah. Like I could deal more with the winters here if it wasn't for the winds. The winds will take you out every time.
Literally. I've literally been tripped by the wind, like walking down the I'm like, this is crazy. Like, you are really trying to fight me right now. Like, that's crazy.
Yes. Yes. There's point and I'm only but this big, I'm only 5 foot tall, you know?
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
When that wind gets the kicking, I have to walk backwards so that they can somewhere I don't
Yeah.
go, you know?
Yeah. You got to hang on to shit, put like rocks in your pockets,
Ooh, ooh, brutal.
put a backpack on, like weight it down. Yeah.
And that's another thing too, like, I got here, the food is amazing here, so I
Mm.
put on some really good weight in the past almost 8 years that I've been here, and that
Mm.
get through these winters for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and it's great because it's like, you can eat until you're, like, so that, like, you almost wanna throw up kind of so you're so full 'cause the food is so good, you just wanna keep eating, but it's like,
Right,
Chicago is a very walkable city for the most part, so it's like you can walk it off, like, after you eat, and it's not you can take a nice stroll through a neighborhood or, by the lakefront or whatever.
it's true.
Yeah, what are some of your favorite food spots that you've discovered since being here? Any favorite, like, date spots too?
You know what? I could tell you some of the places that I have been to,
Yeah,
because I am somewhat of a foodie, and,
okay.
like, I really will I'll try anything, honestly, as long as it's good and it's cooked right, I'm totally there, and I love anything that's kind of elevated too, in a sense,
Mm,
and Chicago is great for so many amazing restaurants with great ambiance here. Very romantic city, for sure.
I've actually never described it. I don't think I've ever heard it described as a very romantic I mean, I agree with you, I just don't know that I've heard that before.
Yeah, the city is very in my perspective and in
Mhm,
my own experience, because I do a lot of solo dating. So I go out on my own and explore the city quite often by myself. And it is very romantic. It's a very dreamy city. Where have I ate at? I've eaten at so many spots. There's a cool spot downtown in Chicago. It's like a rooftop spot called Ray's that I've been to, which is really nice.
okay,
Shout out to Ray's. They have a beautiful rooftop there. I spent my last birthday at a spot called London House.
okay.
I believe London House is a hotel, but they have a really beautiful rooftop
Yeah, yeah.
there, and I had afternoon tea there, which was amazing. That was wonderful. Maple and Ash. I've gone to Maple and Ash.
God, I love maple and ash.
This I just ate again at Maple and Ash for, the holiday for Thanksgiving, and that's one
Mm,
do that has been a tradition kind of for me since I've lived in Chicago. Since I don't have any family here, I don't
mhm,
have kids or any of that going on. So I try to pick a really nice restaurant every holiday to go to. And I
yeah.
chose Bull and Ash again because their food is just so good.
It's so good. I've been there I have a friend who also enjoys elevated dining, the finer her and I are very similar in the way that we're bougie. Like, we're not, like, snobs, Like, because I'll eat at a hole in the wall if it's
Yes,
good,
yes,
at a five-star restaurant, but, we love a good, bougie happy hour.
yeah.
So we've gone a couple times to she took me there. She's the one who introduced me to Mabel and Ash, and we went for a happy hour the first time, and I think the last couple of times we've been for happy hour as well, but it's so good, and like you said, it's a whole vibe because there's a downstairs, then you go upstairs, and it's like a whole other thing.
It is, and even the staff, just shout out to Maple and Ash because their staff has always been amazing to me every time I've been there. So, those are a few of the spots. I just recently went to this is really dope coffee shop. It's a brand new one. I can't remember what side of town that is. It's called Postcard.
Okay.
The coffee shop is called Postcard. It's tiny, but it's sleek. It's sleek. It's super
Okay.
nice. So, I definitely love to just check out if I hear of anything that's kind of buzzing a little bit, I'll go and check it out.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, nice. Any favorite sushi places? Because you mentioned sushi.
No, so that's something I have not technically really gotten too deep into here in Chicago.
Mhm.
There's a few spots that I do want to check out. There's one in particular that I've been recommended to go to, and I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but
Okay.
supposedly it's supposed to be pretty elevated too. But no, I haven't really gotten too deep off into the sushi. Like I know there's a popular spot here that does like the big sushi boxes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've seen that around the city and like I've
Mhm.
seen people they'll get the big sushi box from that spot and they'll go out to like the lake.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I've never seen that before, but that sounds like my vibe.
Yeah, yes. In the lake. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because I can think of there's gorilla sushi, and that the one I typically order from is the one in Uptown on Clark Street, and they're really, like, reasonably priced, but their sushi is still good, you know what I mean? Because it's hit or miss in the Midwest, right? We're not by a coast, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, but you don't necessarily need to go to like a Michelin star place or like somewhere in River North that's going to be, a lot of money to get pretty like good. There's a place up here. Actually, there's a couple places up here. I live in Andersonville and there's Tenoshi, which is on Clark Street. I feel like they're like I'm this may be completely wrong. I may be making this up, but I feel like they were Michelin something, maybe. I don't really know. I've lived here so long and I have to this day have not even gone. But there's another place down the street for me called Blowfish Sushi.
Okay.
That's really good as well. So you can definitely find good seafood places here that aren't gonna necessarily break the bank.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm always down for like the mom and pop stuff too.
Mhm.
So, like, I just feel like here, Chicago, like, you can't go wrong. You can close your eyes, point, and pick a spot, and it's
Truly.
really amazing. And Andersonville has tons of really, really dope and good restaurants
Mhm.
over there. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um Yeah, any good date date spot recommendations? That d They don't necessarily have to be food related, like, if you think about I mean, I'm going to assume you've been on dates here in Chicago in the 8 years that you've or is it or is that a bad assumption?
Mm,
Or maybe you've been on dates, but they haven't been great.
mm.
Maybe let's back it up. Let's back it up. What has dating in Chicago been like for you?
It hasn't been. It hasn't. And that's
Tragedy.
weird. That's why I'm here. I
Damn.
This has to stop. This has to stop right now. Right?
They said it has to stop.
Oh, the chain breaks today. But no, it hasn't. It hasn't been existent. And
Mm,
I wish I had something good and juicy to kind of give you guys um around that for me personally, but I haven't,
mm.
in the 8 years, the almost 8 years that I've been here, nothing, you know,
Wow.
at all. There's a lot of, other little factors that play into that too, but, like, when I first got here, I got here almost kind of around when COVID hit, when I
Mm,
first got here.
yeah.
When that happened, um, we were all indoors. We were all indoors, and, um, I know that by that time I had started working from home by that time, and
Mm,
couldn't really go out and socialize, so there was, I was down for about a good 2.5 years of
mm,
not being able to explore Chicago like that,
yeah.
and then
Yeah, and after things started opening back up, it was definitely different. Like,
mm,
it wasn't I mean, nowhere was. It was, pandemic was
yeah.
real,
Yeah, yeah,
as a lot of people don't, wanna kind of we won't get into that. But, yeah, I mean, it changed everything. It changed the course of the world.
yes.
Um
So, that changed, like you said, it changed a lot of the ways that we socialize and how we gather and how we commune with
mm,
each other and things like that. So, that has been one of the factors for me. And then, just gaining my stability, being in a new city, just trying to gather my bearings. You know what I'm saying? So work took up a huge, 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 huge part of just my time and just my everyday life, and it's still something that I'm trying to pull myself away from. So, um,
mm,
I definitely could acknowledge where there's a lot of me being a workaholic
mm,
and just needing to step away from that to where that has affected me, digging more into my romantic and dating life as well. And then, another thing too is that I'm not gonna front, I do spend a lot of time in my home, not gonna lie.
yeah.
Not gonna lie, I'm not I'm not if I have everything here, I'm not moving.
Sure. Yeah. No, I get it. I've been the past couple of years, and I'm an extroverted person. I do love to socialize, but yeah, between the pandemic and then just I kind of leaned more into my introverted side. It's been a process to like get myself back out there, and there have even been times like when I first was doing that, where I was like, I actually don't have the endurance to socialize the way I used to. Like I literally had to like retrain my body to have the endurance and to do that. So yeah, it's you fall into habits like anything else, and it does take like mindfulness and intentionality and discipline to to get yourself back out there. Because yeah, I mean, when we were literally had to be stuck in the house, it's like to this day I'm like, oh yeah, I forget that like I can go to the movies. Like, I don't like and that never used to be a problem pre-pandemic. Like, I was going to the movies all the time, and now I barely ever go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll say this. I feel like within the past couple of years, I've been a little bit more active as far as like getting out in the city and really
Mm,
city. The city is still, this is still very new to me because there's still so much I have not done, so much I still have not seen since I've been here, But like I said, if I have everything kind of like here, I'm really not gonna go out unless I really have to. And then it's just like this economy, man. This economy is just
ugh,
for everybody, for everybody. It's just for me to step foot out the door, just transportation in general, I'm dropping at least 100. I'm dropping at least a hundo, okay? Doesn't include anything else.
yeah,
It doesn't include anything else.
yeah,
So it's just like I just have to have mindfulness um to about, just being more selective in a sense about what it is that I am doing and things like that. So, those are just a few of the factors that have played into the dating, but I have not gone on any type of date. I would love to.
yeah.
I honestly I would love to, like I said, I'm good and I'm solid with where I'm at in having a relationship with self
Mhm.
and what that's like for me. But as far as the dynamic of sharing my world, just my experiences and myself with someone else, that's something that's almost really kind of completely foreign to me in a lot of
Yeah.
maybe my approach, like I said, is just a little bit old school, but I'm definitely the person where, uh pulling out the chair, opening doors, things like that.
Mm,
I'm just a very courteous person, you know what I mean? And then
mm,
another thing is too, I don't know if I didn't already express it and put it out there, but I'm trans. So I have a lived experience
mm,
woman. You know what
mhm,
I know what women want.
mhm.
I know what women need. You know what I'm saying? I've lived in that experience, you know what I'm saying? So there's just things that for me with understanding women and dating women and that being my preference that I just intuitively know what to do when it comes to that. So,
Mm,
for me, like the perfect date for me is where it's very intentional for the both of us. Like we get dressed up, we get really, really fancy,
mhm,
we get dressed up, maybe I send for the car, with myself and come and get them.
mhm.
I definitely would show up, with the flowers and everything like that. I would probably pick a restaurant that I felt like would be really, really nice for us to dine and things like that. Probably more of a space too that had maybe like some live entertainment happening as well.
Okay.
'Cause I love to dance, so I love good music, I love to dance, I love to be entertained, anything live as well, like a live experience, probably something off of the lake, we could do that. I probably would even, depending on the season here in Chicago, for the river and the lake is so beautiful.
Yes.
So even like a boat dining too off of the
Yeah,
river.
I've never done one of those before, but I've always been so interested.
I've done it myself personally.
Mhm.
I just haven't done it as far as like dating, but I would love to have an experience like that. As
Yeah.
dating, like I've done it on the Odyssey.
Okay.
So yeah, I've done it on the Odyssey, like off of the pier here
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
Chicago, which was really nice. So I would do something like that and probably afterwards depending on how you know the other person feels if they still want to continue going, I'm totally down to go somewhere that a nice cocktail spot, converse a little bit more, have some more cocktails, probably might cap it with a nice little dessert or something like that. um, Make sure they get back home and nothing further. I'm really just I feel like I'm more so of like I have to gauge who I'm dealing with
Right.
and where it's gonna go, you know, because sometimes it just might be, you meet up really quick and it's a high and bye and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's it. And then there's other times it's where, the chemistry is definitely there. It's on and you guys could go and venture off for the rest of the night until the sun comes up.
Mhm.
It just depends. It depends on the person.
Yeah. That's such a good point. It's almost like the pressure shouldn't be on the first date, it should almost be, like, the second or third date. Because you make a really good point of, like, you are just meeting this person unless you've done like, you may have talked, on the app or texting or even FaceTime just to, make sure you're not being catfished, but you really are this is your first time meeting in person, and you really just don't know how it's gonna go, and it's yeah, you do have to, like, find that balance of like, you wanna put in effort, but also you don't wanna if it's a first date that, is a bust, you don't wanna be, like, a couple hundred out. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? It is a risk either way, but it's also, like, you can make it a calculated risk. And also, like you said, in this economy, you gotta
yeah,
meet everybody where they're at, and, yeah, there was another person we interviewed who he was really about making an experience for both him and his partner, which it sounds like what you do of, like, he listens to what they like and whatever, because you have those people who will just choose something for you and whatever, and, like, that seems great, but it's like, what if I have a food allergy and I can't eat most of the shit in this restaurant, you know? Or, like, what if there's no thought and intentionality behind it, and it's also like, I love how you talk about, the flowers and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, people want to feel desired and wanted and like they are a priority for you, even if it is just the first day, being like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm present with you. I want to try to get to know you and see if we are compatible with one another." I think it really just does come down to like really foundational stuff because we've lost that. I saw a post on social media the other week of this therapist who's like have all of these women clients and they are really wondering if like asking for like basic, connection and decency is really like asking for too much because she talked about it being we've started to become an avoidant culture, not necessarily like everybody has avoidant attachment style, but there's like this low animal, barely giving anything kind of thing. And again, it's very incongruent to what I hear a lot of people want, which is community, deep connection, um, you know, to be wanted and desired and to feel like a priority. It's like you got it. You can't want those things but not put in any work. Like that's not how that works.
exactly. All of everything you just said too, for me, I feel like I have to see and know that that person is already giving those things to themselves. And they're not demanding that their partner or whoever it is that they're dating
Mhm.
gives that to them. You know,
Mhm.
like I need to know that you've already met yourself there. That
Mm,
what you expect is what you've already given to yourself. And I feel like everything I just said too is what I hold myself accountable for
mm,
already. I've spent it's been a little over now and this might shock some people. For myself, it's been a little over 16 years that I've been single. Okay. And that's that's really kind of extreme, an extreme and rare thing for
mhm,
most people. But I have spent those years and a lot of that time giving myself that, giving myself those things, not waiting on someone else to show up in those ways that I can show up for myself. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
I definitely know that when it comes to that, I definitely bring that standard to the table. And I would hope that, you know, to meet other people, other women that already are doing that for themselves. So I think that that's a first, you know what I'm saying? So reciprocity is very big for me, you know. So I feel like I'm not I'm not demanding that someone does it. I would only hope that the way that I show up, even in dating, like if I'm showing up, just being courteous. It's not want something. It's not want something from this person. But just to show, like, again, like how you mentioned that I'm present, that I'm here with you, and this is an experience for the both of us, for us to enjoy ourselves, that they would show up as well in the same ways, that they would reciprocate the same things too, you
yeah,
know,
for sure.
regardless of my gender, regardless woman, man, whatever.
Mm.
I feel like that should be the standard for everybody. The reciprocity goes both ways,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, and it's not like you were saying, it's not like I'm keeping score, like, "Oh, they did these 5 things for me, so I gotta do these 5 things," or whatever. It's like, no, it's never everything is never like a straight 50-50 split. But it is yeah, it's just that, like, I show up, I do these things, whatever, and it's not that I'm expecting, like you said, waiting for you to I do it because I want to, because I care, because I want to be a good friend or a good partner or a good, you know, sibling, whatever. But yeah, there's no point of me continuing to give to people who aren't e- either capable at that time to give it or just won't. That's not none of those things are my problem.
Well,
It is almost always a reflection of that person and where that person is at, and not the other person. It's like we all gotta help each other out and support each other, because at this point, like, truly, we are all we got.
yeah,
In in so many ways, we are all we got. So
but no, I don't ever want to, um I don't wanna give everything. I've given it, like, just put everything out there on the first date, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because, like, it's baby steps, it's a gradual thing, you know what I'm saying? So, like, how I mentioned the whole, like, my whole thing, like, my perfect date would be, like, really intentional, like, where we both wanna get really fancy, get really dressed up, and just, have a paint the town red and just have a night out. It's
Yeah.
just, experiencing each other and having a good time, like, that experience probably, not to say it doesn't happen for people on the first date, but that's probably not how I would step into the first date. It would probably be like maybe the third or fourth, or when we're
Mhm.
more exclusive into something. You know what I'm saying? So it's just something you kind of work your way in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is something I learned recently in a relationship. A relationship that just ended, but it was like you. I've had like situationships in my adulthood, but truly this was the first time I had any sort of real relationship with somebody since high school. So I understand, I've been single more times than I have not been. And I'm also an only child who's very much comfortable with being independent and alone. So yeah, I've had a lot of time to be with myself and be comfortable with myself, even in high school. Like, I had no problem going out and doing I'd always hear people be like, "Oh my god, like, how do you go to the movies by yourself or go out?" And I'm like, "I just do it. It's fun because it's for me." Like, I if I sat around and waited for somebody or people to have experiences and go out and do things, I would never leave my fucking house. I have to live my life too. And I deserve those things. Whether now, sure, obviously, there are definitely times where I want to share those moments and experiences with people, but I'm like, I can enjoy those things on my own as well. Yeah, this relationship that I just got out of was the first time where I was learning how to do that gradual thing, and I think there were a lot of like conceptions about dating that I don't necessarily think we're still stuck in like high school era, but again, like I never really dated as an adult. So I'm like, I'm just trying to figure this out. But it's like you don't need to do all of this stuff at once. Like, you have time. Like, truly, like, you don't know when it's gonna end. So like just relax. Like, no one's saying you gotta get married or move in or whatever. If you do, cool. Like, if it feels I think that's the thing too. If it's like if it feels right for both of you, if you're feeling good about it, like, go at whatever pace works for y'all. But yeah, it doesn't have to all be at once. And it's nice to like go at that slower pace and just get to know one another and find out all those like little small things about people. And as you said, like, you can then start to curate better experiences for the both of y'all because you're communicating, you're talking, you're getting to know one another and how each other works and all of that stuff. That's the best part of being in a relationship with somebody.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, of course, like how you said for your experiences with dating and relationships were, at a very young age. And that's totally relatable for myself as well. I feel like, younger, we're just naive. All of it is new.
Mhm.
We feel what we feel, so we're just flying off of feeling. You know what I mean? We just in it, just off of feelings. You know what I mean? So there's not a lot of maybe critical thinking happening there.
Yeah, that frontal lobe's not fully
Yeah.
formed, you know?
And then, I
Yeah.
don't know, like, for yourself, necessarily maybe what your preference is, in who you date, but I know, like, my experience as, like, being lesbian too,
Mhm.
dating as a lesbian, everything happened so goddamn quick. Oh, and it's so intense. It's so quick, it's so intense, and then it's so painful after it's
Mhm.
over, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like I feel like when I reflect back on those particular experiences and just where I was at, like I did whatever I knew in that moment.
Right.
Not saying it was the worst or the best, but I did whatever the hell I knew in that moment without knowing much, without knowing a thing at all.
Mhm.
But now being in my 40s and being trans and that being a whole different experience too, um, there's just a lot more intention behind how I engage with people and how I approach getting to know people. So, it's just not a thing where I feel like I need to be rushed in that.
Yeah.
Like I really need to vet out who I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
What is they need to vet out me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you wanna speak more on that? On, like, what it's been like? I mean, I know you said you haven't really dated much, but, what has that journey been like for you as dating as a lesbian, as a woman presenting person, and then, transitioning and obviously, like, let's just name it, like, as a Black trans man, like, there's a lot of danger, especially in this country. Also, like, it doesn't also, if you wanna talk about, like, what joys there are of being a Black trans man and maybe what you're excited about when it comes to dating as a Black trans man.
Man, so it's a huge contrast.
Mm,
Like I said, a lot of my a lot the few, I'm not gonna say a lot, but the majority of the dating experiences that I did have were in my 20s, like my early 20s, like
mhm,
late teens, like 20s. So the last time I dated anyone exclusively, I was like 26.
mm,
It's like back in 2009. So, and like I said, those experiences, lesbians, they move just way too damn quick with stuff. I did the U-Haul thing. I've done it. I swear to God, I've done it.
yeah,
I've done the long distance thing. I've done the moving from state to state and all of that. Just all of the things when it comes to that. But I will say that when I was more feminine presenting, even though I was still I was
mm,
still a mass lesbian. I was more feminine presenting. There definitely was a lot more women that I feel like were more engaging and more accepting and more open,
mm,
wanting to date me for sure. But since the transition, the more that my appearances become masculine, you know, it's just like, no, women do not want to deal with me whatsoever. I
Do you think that's because you present more like a man and they're just like, "I don't wanna deal with men," or is it because specifically because you're trans? Do you think it's both?
It's all of the things, honestly.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like the biggest thing that I contend with is programming and conditioning is
Mhm.
the thing that I come up against, and I don't have control over that,
Right.
you know? So there's been a lot of unlearning and learning that I've gone through for myself in my own journey
Mhm.
and really trying to understand life and just the human experience in general, and that's the work that I chose to do for myself.
Mhm.
And I make that decision for somebody else? No. You know what I'm saying? That's up to somebody else. I don't have control over people's beliefs or their perception and how they see things. And a lot of the times our thoughts are not our own. Our thoughts don't belong to us. We're influenced by things, by what we're told or how we should be or how we should show up. So those are the things that I contend with when I deal with people. It takes a very special type of person in this world who sees past the certain illusions and traps that, you know, whatever this thing is in life wants to keep us in.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I know patriarchy plays a huge, 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 huge part
Mhm.
in the root of a lot of women's sort of feelings about men in general, their perception and their experiences with men. And what's unique on my end is with me being trans, what's unique on my end is that, like I said, I have the lived experience of a woman. Now, at this point, because the further I've gone into my transition, some people just, if they don't know me and they don't know my experience, then they're just automatically going to assume that's a man.
Mm, mhm.
And they're not going to understand that I have had a lived experience as a woman and that I know what they're going through. You know what I'm saying? I know what it
Especially as a Black woman, as
is.
a masked lesbian. I mean, there are so many layers to, because it's like there was, I'm sure, a sense of, not a lot of safety in that as well, you know? And also, there is maybe a different kind of unsafeness now.
Yeah, it's complex. It's you said it's very layered to really get into. But yeah, it's just like now if I especially if I step, it doesn't matter if it's straight or gay. It doesn't even matter if it's in my community or outside of my community. The thing
Right.
is that when I show up in a space, especially if it's fem centered, I have to be more conscious of just me existing, just simply existing. I haven't even said a word, just simply
Yep.
existing in that space and how that may trigger other people, how they trigger women. Now, is it my intent to make people feel uncomfortable? Absolutely not. But Am I going to stop showing up in my truth and living in my truth? And living unapologetically? No, I'm not going to, and that's for anyone that does not deserve, I don't care, man, woman, whatever.
Mhm.
Anybody showing up in their truth, as long as it's not hurting anybody, that is their right to do that. That does not equate to violence, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anyone, period.
Right.
The thing is that, yeah, safety comes into play now when I'm showing up in a lot of spaces. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes now, further into my transition, there's been a lot of times where I felt even a lot safer in cis spaces to even my own community, even before I transition, could be very cutthroat.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work that needs to be done there too. A hell of a lot of unpacking that
So
needs to
much
happen.
so much work, yeah, in the queer community because I am also queer and, yeah, it's just it's a lot, and it's this could be a whole other podcast episode, but, just the fact that, like, white queers specifically, like, across the board, but, especially white cis queers, have co-opted a lot of the spaces, have co-opted a lot of, what it means to be queer or, to be visible in that, and it's like, "All right, y'all. All right, y'all. The stone wall was started by who threw that first brick, okay? It was
Yeah,
a black trans woman and a Latina trans woman, like, let's remember that queerness is so much more, so many more things and the ways in which we present and all of that stuff. We gotta make yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot to unpack.
it's so true. In that too, like I do my best to just be in balance with just femininity and masculinity. It's just having those two integrated where it goes so much further than that.
Mhm,
Like you said,
mhm.
queerness, just being queer and things like that. So, I do not believe in I don't believe in, hyper toxic masculinity and even hyper toxic femininity for anybody. I understand that, just as far as like energy and just spirit and everything like that, like we embody all of those energies, regardless
Mhm.
how our physical appearance looks. We all inhabit those feminine and masculine energies. You know what I'm saying? So I try to live very integrated with that. Because I also do identify as non-binary.
Mm,
So, a lot of the times too, I feel like, um, I could engage with women that have this very rigid perception of how masculinity should look, or this very traditional perception of how masculinity needs to look. And like nowadays, what's really insane to me is that like anytime a man expresses just even the slightest bit of just them being uncomfortable, and it's very valid, like they may have a very valid reason of being uncomfortable, and then you hear a woman say, no, they're gay.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if it if they get disrespected, now they're gay. So it's just like it's insane. It's insane. So I feel like too, in a lot of ways, that women just as much need to be held accountable as well for upholding some of the things in the patriarchy.
Oh, 100 100%. Well, and, the thing, that I think we all, like, it's all this stems from colonialism, the binary of gender and all that say first of all. And all of it is like it's a performance. Like it is all we are all in some way, shape, or form performing something, whether it's with our gender or the clothes we wear or our sexuality or all of these things. It's like there's so and it's like, yeah, it does get overwhelming to like think about, but it's like nobody's asking you to like dismantle it all by yourself right now in this in this moment, right? But like it's like, yeah, you do have to think about that stuff. And like we've talked about, like there are so many layers to all of it. And we all have a part to play in if dismantling these systems is really what we're about, then we all have a part to play in it. We all have things we've been like you said, programmed. These thoughts are not our own. We all have deprogramming that we need to do. And we all have reading we gotta do. I personally, have I want to be more intentional this year about reading more books on gender, and exploring all of that, the gender studies and all of these things. Yeah, we all gotta. We all got work to do. I always say, I'm like, if the most marginalized person on this planet has internalized shit that they gotta unlearn, what makes the rest of us think that we don't gotta work on anything?
Telling I'm telling you, it's a daily thing.
Mhm.
I said I've already mentioned that I do my best to try to hold myself accountable, in every way. You know what I'm saying? But I like I said, I understand too that everybody is on their own personal journey.
Mhm.
Wherever they're at is exactly where they're supposed to be on that journey. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, you know, maybe there was a point where, hey, I wanted to get everybody maybe on that same level of wokeness and where I'm
Yeah.
at. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to wake this person up, but no, like I could care less at this point. Like I am not obligated to do any of that. I am not obligated to educate anyone on that. They gotta choose
Um,
that for themselves. So um yeah, like I said, I'm definitely big on uh, just the character of someone, regardless of if it's a woman or a man. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
So it's just like I'm a whole women accountable. I'm a whole men accountable. I'm a whole everybody goddamn accountable.
mhm.
Everything. So, like I said, that's the biggest thing that I continue when I'm out here dating. So I understand that not everybody is going to necessarily be open to my truth. You know, I get that. And even for me, I have preferences too as well. Like I prefer dating women, but then yet again, there's some things that maybe I'm not necessarily willing to do as far as
Mhm.
dating women. Like maybe I got to think about it a little bit more. Like, I am somebody who is open to dating interracially as well.
Mhm.
You know, I love women of all diasporas and shades,
Mhm.
nationalities, ethnicities. I just love women. And yet again, as well, I have to also consider as well is like when it comes to maybe cis white women too in conditioning, like, is there some fetishizing going on there? Like,
Yeah.
was really, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you really
Yes, I do.
like? What really is your intention?
Mm. Mhm.
So maybe there's some areas, like I said, like even for myself, that maybe I gotta vet it a little bit harder
Yeah.
before I take it there.
Yeah. So what, like, talking about that a little bit more, maybe it's not necessarily on the first date, but, like, what are those kinds of, like, vetting questions that you are going to be asking people? And I know, it might depend on who you're dating, but, like, what does that look like for you in terms of, uh, trying to see if this person is in alignment with what you also want?
Well, number one, did you vote for Trump
Period. That's yep, good place to start. Yes.
out the gate? Number one,
Yeah.
but no, I'm saying that to kind of like be sarcastic, but like just values to me, like
Mm.
just seeing if me and a person align as far as like value. Uh,
What are some of those values?
like how do you feel about children? How do you
Mhm.
feel about raising children? How do you feel about a child's experience in the growing up in us, or just in the world in general?
Yeah.
Like what maybe what was your own lens and your own experiences as a child and leading up to now and how you view the world?
Mm.
Do you feel safe in this world?
Mm.
Do you feel like you're living in your truth? Do you feel safe to live in your own truth? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
'Cause I feel like this is still, and this goes for anybody, this is still a work in progress.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Even
Yep.
for myself, all of this is still a work in progress, but I still believe that, especially with me being trans, I've been maybe a little bit, maybe a lot of bit more unapologetic and just more bold about being in my truth,
Yeah.
just based off of me being trans,
Yep.
especially in these times
Mhm.
here in the States. You know, it's very, it's very dangerous, but it's also very necessary and very liberating, you know? So if I'm, if I'm trans and I'm meeting somebody else that's not trans in a sense or whatever, like I said, like what are they in their truth? Like are we just kind of aligning on those types of values,
Mhm.
Like do you, and I'm not saying that anybody has to be, but what is your relationship with spirit, or like just what do you believe?
Yeah, like, what is your spiritual do you have a spiritual practice or yeah, ritual,
Exactly, or just
belief? Yeah.
what are you, even if you're doing just a little bit daily, like just what are you doing on a daily basis to just kind of bring you wellness in a sense?
Yeah.
Even if it's just, I'm not saying that I'm not a religious person, but if I meet somebody that is religious and they value that, even if at least reading a simple scripture, if that brings you some sort of peace throughout your day, and that's
Mhm.
wonderful, just what, or just even if you're doing, like I said, just one thing throughout the day to just bring you some sort of peace, you know, what does that look like?
Yeah, I feel like that goes back to what you were saying when we were kinda talking about first dates and stuff like that and just, like, showing up, like, how are you it sounds like you would phrase that question also, like, how are you showing up for yourself, and how are you taking care of yourself? Yeah, because it's, you gotta do it. I was just talking to somebody about this today and have talked about it, and it's something I had to learn too, when I really got into activism and I was out protesting and all that stuff, that there's an experience, there's a journey we all have to go through of, that, like, burnout of, like, you wanna do all the things and you wanna go to all the protests and you all the actions and all the things, and it's like, "Baby, if you burn yourself out, if you are not resting, if you do not take a break, if you are not taking care of yourself, you are no good to anybody,
Yeah.
including yourself. You're actually now a liability,
Yeah.
and that will affect everybody around you." And that's the same with dating too. It's like if you are not sorry, there's a if you're not taking care of yourself, especially, I'm also polyamorous, so it's like if you have that was actually a thing that with the relationship that I just got out of, it's like that person was not taking care of themselves. They were a recovering people pleaser, and so they had this pattern of focusing so much on other people that they didn't know how to sit with themselves. And I'm like, that ironically makes it so that you're actually not taking care of the other people that you're with, your other partners, because you're not taking care of yourself first. So you don't even know what you want or need.
Yep. Yep.
And whether you're polyamorous or monogamous, it's like you got to know. You got to know you. You got to know what you need, how you like to be cared for, how you like to be loved. I think that's something I've asked people on here of like, how would you like somebody to love you? How do you like to be cared for? Yeah, those are all I really love all of those questions that you brought up. They're really deep ones, which I love. I like to
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm a deep diver, and I don't want to always get that deep. especially, like, as far as, like, dating, you always just wanna kinda, like, keep it lighthearted and have a good time and, have some good, fun, friendly banter and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but no, I feel like everything we're discussing is so important, is so essential, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
like, these are the type of discussions that need to happen too when dating,
Yep.
that just straight out the gate, so, like, even how you brought up how you're polyamorous and things like that too, and that's another thing too for me too with dating is that, um, I think it's just probably just more of the times too is
Mhm.
that over the years, I feel like I've met a lot of people that are choosing that lifestyle
Mhm.
for sure. I feel like I've met a lot of people too that they wish I was like that. Like they, ooh, like they, oh, I'm doing that thing right there. You know what I'm saying? And like respect it. I really do. I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect however anybody is choosing to live their life, but I do have a deeper understanding with myself as far as like you also talking about wellness and things like that. And your last relationship, just like me knowing that I feel like people are very complex.
Mhm.
Okay. People are very complex. You could go years. You could go years, a lifetime without knowing who somebody really is. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just that's how layered people can be.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to just have to even just deal with yourself and your own thoughts and your own life and your own experience that
Yeah.
a lot. And just for me to have to commit myself to multiple relationships, I do not have the capacity on all levels
Yeah.
to commit myself to that type of lifestyle.
Mhm.
And the people that are able to do that in a healthy way, they're able to live that lifestyle in a
Yeah.
very healthy and consensual way.
Yeah.
I feel like to be poly, you have to be an extremely great communicator, period.
Yeah, it forces you yeah, you I mean, you have to. That's the thing about it is you have to communicate. But also on the other this is not trying to convert anybody to polyamory, but it's to like but it's because the way and not to get too much into my own stuff and away from you, but, the way I had it described to me, it clicked in my brain that it was like, because I listen, myself from even a decade ago, if you would have asked me back then if I would have been open to polyamory, whatever, I would have laughed in your face.
Right.
I would have laughed in your and I was the same way as you. I was like, "I don't even know how I would even have the capacity to do that." But the way I had the conversation about it with somebody, this person wasn't even poly, they were just ethically non-monogamous. They had an open relationship. And I was like, "Oh," for me, it clicked that I was like, "Okay, I have multiple groups of friends or like I have different types of friends that fulfill different types of needs, right? Not one friend is not going to fulfill all these needs all the time. And so that's why you should have a community of people, a support system, because people are going to fulfill different things. I have friends who don't give a fuck about, whatever, my favorite band, but I have other friends that do. So that's the friend that I'm going to go and see them in concert, that band in concert with, right? And so I was like, it makes sense that for others that they find and are fulfilled in different ways by different romantic partners as well. But yeah, I mean it's the same. A lot of things like can be applied to monogamy as well. It's like you still have to communicate because like you said, there are so many people, not even just like the layers of people and complexities, like, yeah, you could spend an entire lifetime just trying to figure out yourself, right? But it's like some people don't know who their partner is because they don't fucking talk to them. They don't, and they're miserable. But then the patriarchy and all this stuff comes in of like, well, if you leave, you're gonna be alone forever because God forbid you be single. it's the worst thing in the fucking world, and so they hang on to these relationships that really aren't good, but they're like, "I would rather be that than single," and it's like,
Okay.
"Okay, okay, okay, it's your life, but, like, you only got one."
It's very true. Sorry, but like I said, however people make the choice in their life to how they want to lead it, it's
Mhm,
their choice. And I am not big on leaning on this side or that side.
mhm,
I feel like people need to choose whatever they feel is best for them and whatever is
yeah,
healthiest for everybody
yeah,
involved. You know what I'm saying? So like that's even like how you mentioned with monogamy. I think a lot of things in monogamy could be very extremely toxic as
mhm,
too, you know. But I understand myself enough to know that I am not someone that could show up 100% to multiple relationships.
mm,
Absolutely not. Not to say that I couldn't clearly communicate need, what the
right,
dynamic to be
yeah, yeah,
between partners, because I feel like I could definitely clearly communicate that, but to be consistent, like showing up 100% to all of this,
yeah,
absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that's just my own thing because I
yeah,
understand my own
yeah,
energy and I understand my own just like mental capacity. And I'm very big too, still on, even if I am partner, there still needs to be a level of, am I saying this right? Out of time, being,
autonomy, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes. So, like I said, I do not believe that one person could be everything to you. That is too huge of a demand. That is too
yeah.
huge of,
Well, it sets everybody up for failure.
exactly. That is not realistic, but that is like how you mentioned, that is where your other relationships come into play.
Mhm,
Family relationships, you have your friendship relationships, you have your
mhm,
community relationships, you know? So I'm still very big on that, even if I am a monogamous partner. Like,
right,
partner would still need to have their own life and their own interests.
yeah,
Still have your friends, you still have your family, you still have your community. Like, I just don't believe that once you are in those types of dynamics that your life automatically stops or that you're like who you are needs to be cut off in some type of way,
right,
you
right,
know. But like I said, just now in just the times that we're in, I could completely understand the rebellion from just these very traditional ways of
mm,
relationships. You know what I'm saying? So I don't knock it. I don't knock it at all. But and I'm also somebody, I'm very energy sensitive too,
mhm,
so my space is very sacred to me.
mm,
My peace is sacred, my mind, my body, all of that is very sacred to me. So I I don't see myself as like this revolving door for anybody to just come and just kind of walk into my house any kind of way that they want to.
mhm.
Absolutely
That's so
not.
good. Yeah,
Absolutely not. That has been my own choice and my own reasoning as to why I have not stepped into that particular lifestyle.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you're steps ahead of so many people, like, regardless of how they date or are in relationship with people, it's like, just to even know those things about yourself, child, know themselves.
Get it,
Yeah.
I've ran into people, I've ran into other women around my age or even older, and they're like, I'm just looking for a hookup. And that's totally cool.
Mhm.
That I respect it. That's totally cool as long as you're communicating that out the gate, 100. You know what I'm saying? But then again, it's almost kind of like, well, damn, you don't have much life left. You know what I'm saying? You playing, you out here playing with people. You don't have
Yeah.
time. You don't really have much time left to be playing around with people like that. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm just kind of like, that's really kind of crazy at your big age to.
You don't have much life left. It's great.
That's even that's even for myself. It's like I got more days behind me than ahead of me.
Sure, yeah, no, yeah.
So I feel like I'm not single because I have to be. I just have put more intent behind.
Mm,
I've just have done a lot more work in the areas of my own self
yeah,
to be able to come into that dynamic in a healthy way, in a receptive way. When
yeah,
it does happen, but it's very rare. Like I said, it's just very rare that I could come into connection maybe with somebody else that is maybe even taking those same steps in their own life,
yeah,
especially being in my 40s, not having kids. I have yet to ever even marry. I don't even know what the hell any of that shit is like.
yeah, yeah. So many good things. We could talk for hours. I do wanna I don't have any smooth transition for this, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the fashion. We gotta talk about the outfit you showed up and showed out, talk about your style, talk about your fashion, talk about, is it something I mean, it seems like it's something that you love, or you at least put intentionality behind.
I do. And I honestly need to hurry up and get rich so I could really dress the way that I really, really want to. I swear.
Yeah, okay, okay, what does that look like? Can you give us some comps, some visuals?
My God. It would probably look like a closet full of Rick Owens. I swear.
What?
Rick Owens.
I'm screaming.
Yeah.
Incredible.
On everything, probably a lot of Rick. So, like I said, I gotta hurry up and get rich. But no, I'm not big on fashion, but I'm big on style.
Okay.
I'm big
Okay.
on style and I'm big on creativity. So, I do just like to just kind of toy around with things and play around with my appearance. And in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm very moody in that sense because I could do one thing. Um, if I removed my hat or if I took off the glasses or whatever, it would just completely
Right.
drastically change my appearance. So, like, I know a lot of people that be like, "Hey, man, I just saw you yesterday. You had blonde hair, and then like now you got no hair, and then like it's like
Right, right.
what's going on here?" No, I like to have fun with clothing,
Yeah.
and that does not, especially because I don't come from a family of affluence. I did not grow up affluent, although I grew up in a city that is very affluent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not grow up like that. But I didn't grow up in no hood also either.
Mhm.
It's just like, you know, we didn't have the money for those things. So we just kind of had to like get creative with stuff,
Yeah.
So it was like I'm the oldest of six.
Shit.
I know that's a lot for you being an only child.
Yeah, that's a l
Dude, I get So, it was a lot of hand-me-downs or,
Yeah.
getting donated clothes, and, like, back then being younger, like, I wasn't feeling any of that,
Yeah.
but I feel like as I matured and I got older and then, you start thrifting and stuff like that,
Mhm.
bigger appreciation for it, so I'll thrift and stuff too, you know what I'm saying, and do a lot of, recycling of,
Mhm.
some clothing and stuff that I have, but I don't go crazy on the pockets and doing that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, yeah, and I think like you said, it does come down to, like, having an eye for styling because you could get, everything on you at a thrift store, the way you style is, like, nobody would know that, you know what I mean? Or it's like, if you I know I used to follow this YouTuber who, she would not spend a lot of money. She'd shop at, like, the H&Ms and that kind of stuff for clothing, but then where she really put in money was, like, accessories, the purses, the jewelry, whatever. It's like, that kind of stuff can really elevate a look, so it's like, yeah, I look like I spent thousands of dollars on all of this, but actually, I only spent a few hundred or, whatever, or I spent, a stack on this purse, but the rest of it is thrifted or whatever. Yeah, it really does come down to styling stuff.
absolutely, and I think that's so relatable. And with it being Black History Month, shout out to the Black Beauty Hair Supply. Okay,
Period.
telling you because I stay in there. Okay,
The hate's
oh,
coming.
here I come through with the beard, all of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't care. So I definitely wear a lot of things that are unisex across the board.
Mhm.
I don't have a problem playing around with stuff. So, like Black Beauty Hair Supply, tons of like little cool little things I'll play around with every now and then. I just can't wear all the costume jewelry all the time because it's cheap, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It'll rub off.
turn green.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout outs to the Black Beauty Hair Supplies and stuff like that. And, even just through the community too, because it's always, that's one of the beautiful things about being queer. I feel like being queer and being creative is like interconnected. So,
Yeah.
community is always doing something real crazy. So, if I see any of my peers and stuff, they're out here just creating some really cool stuff. I try to, cop that too and like, support them and
Yeah.
their work and represent that and their whatever they might be making too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so many great Black owned brands these days now. I mean, so many. I think like maybe not most of my like necklaces and stuff today are like Black owned brands or are from a BIPOC company. Like it's just the options are endless these days, which is incredible. Yeah, I also wanted to ask you about your creativity. How does the creativity show up for you? Like, do you work in a creative field or like do you have hobbies like music, art? Talk a little bit about that as well.
So I do. So besides me having just the regular BS 9 to 5,
Mhm.
I'm a multidisciplinary visual artist. So I've been professional for 17 years now.
Wow.
17 years in this thing professionally. So, I work with a full range of media,
Mhm.
mainly concentrated in photography and film. So, whew, man, yeah, I do that. I do that also like full time. I also just launched my biggest creative project to date. Um, so I created a music multimedia platform called Frequency Noir. And Frequency Noir centers on experimental, progressive, Black and African, LGBTQ musicians. So what it is that it's not a collective, it's not an agency, it's not a record label. So
Mhm.
it's like a cultural and historical archive
Mm.
documentary. So we create these short form documentaries for these almost really niche Black music artists.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's been going on, and that's been the biggest, heaviest thing on my plate right now. Has been filming and doing that and creating and working with other artists and stuff like that. So it's been really interesting, So like how we're sitting here, conversing and stuff like that. I've had the
Mhm.
opportunity to be able to really converse and share the stories and the experiences of those that are within my community and also just, connecting to as well on our love of music.
Yeah.
So like music is always before the visual arts, music has always been the first for me because I grew up classically trained in music.
Okay.
So that's always been at the forefront for me. So, I have a very eclectic taste and range in music. So I listen to absolutely everything. So
That's incredible. By classically trained, were you classically trained on an instrument, vocals?
instruments. So I actually grew up playing the oboe.
Okay, oboe. Yeah, no, no. I also grew up I play 4 instruments, and I started with piano. So, yeah, I sing as well. So, I have also been classically trained. So, I am familiar with the oboe.
Yes, yes, go. Yeah, some people don't know about that, but you know, it landed in my lap because I originally wanted the clarinet. The clarinet was like
Mm.
one of the top dog popular.
Yes, I played clarinet for, like, a year. 4th grade band, I played clarinet. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was something that just like quickly went off the shelf. And, I I had some teachers step to me and they were like, well, we got something else for you, that nobody
Mhm. Yeah.
really knows about. And, I had a lot of people really take their time with me in developing that. And, it went a lot further than I could have ever expected it to go.
Mm.
Or that's really just kind of the starting origins of,
Yeah.
you know, me really getting into music.
Amazing. That's so cool. I love that. I love when I meet multi-creative because I got my first professional, like, DSLR camera for Christmas in 2012. I love photography. I had, co-founded and used to run a film production company here in the city. No longer exists, but yeah, I love all that shit. It's so good. And I love this idea of this archive. I'm gonna have to check that out after we, are finished recording because that's so cool and such a great thing, especially during Black History Month of, like, that archiving our history. So many people are fighting to erase it and erase us, especially Black queer history. So we gotta archive as much shit and document as much shit as we can.
Absolutely, and I'm in the thick of it. I honestly am in the thick of it, and it's very important work, and I really try to express that to the creatives that do participate in it. It
Yeah.
we gotta tell our stories before they tell or they completely take it away from us.
Yeah. Yeah, before they try to rewrite it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so last thing, that was it. This will be a smoother transition.
Well,
So, we do a little, like, game with our guests
okay,
that's kind of, uh, fit for who you are because you are such a music person. We're gonna play a little game called Soundtrack to Life.
okay.
Um So we're gonna play this game, Soundtrack to Life, and you're gonna create the perfect soundtrack for different life moments and dating scenarios.
Okay.
You ready? No right or wrong answer. It's what you take all the classical, eclectic, bring it in. All right. You ready?
Yeah, you gotta let me, like I gotta get my phone too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm that way too. I'm like, I can never think of songs and shit. I gotta go to my playlists and stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Playlists are pulled up. Okay, so the first moment is called Getting Ready for a First Date. What song are you playing to get yourself hyped up and feeling confident?
To get hyped up,
Yeah, you're feeling yourself. You're ready for this date.
hyped
You got
up.
the perfect outfit on.
You know what I would play? There's a song that I really love. It's Throwback Though.
Mhm.
NERD, Nerd, for rep,
Mhm.
called You Know What.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nerd is a throwback.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be NERD for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Moment Next moment is the perfect first kiss. If your first kiss with someone had a soundtrack, what would be playing?
What? The first kiss?
Mhm.
Yes. Wow. Mm, come on now. Maybe R&B singer Tank. Celebration.
Did you say tank or tink?
Tank. Tank. He's an
Okay.
R&B singer and a songwriter, and it would be the song Celebration with him and Drake.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like I'm on my phone too. I'm like, maybe I need to be adding my like let me take notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna discover some new artists.
Well, he's been around for a good while, but yeah, that's just a song that would make
Yeah, yeah.
it.
Okay, next moment is a long drive with someone you're falling for. You're on a road trip with someone you really like. What's the album or what's on the playlist for the road trip? I love a good road trip playlist.
Repeat the question again.
Yeah, yeah. You're on a road trip with someone you really like. What's the album or what's on the playlist?
I would play some. I always mess this woman's name up. She is so phenomenal. Kalela?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds familiar to me.
But it definitely would be her.
Okay.
Anything from her, honestly, is amazing. So no album in particular for her. I could just play
Anything.
with her.
She's just giving you road trip vibes.
Absolute.
Perfect. Okay, next moment is moving on from heartbreak.
Mm.
What song gets you through a breakup or helps you heal?
Destiny's Child, so good.
Oof. You had that one on deck. You were like, exactly. They had that one locked in. Yeah, that and you know what? Destiny's Child is such a classic.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, next moment is dancing in the kitchen. You and your partner are cooking together and suddenly it turns into a kitchen dance party. What song comes on? So you're cooking, all of a sudden this is the song that comes on and y'all just got to dance. Dance it out.
There's so many great dance tracks.
I'm just like there's so many songs that could be.
Oh my god. Oh, I knew I would draw a blank. I just knew I would draw a blank.
Just pull up the phone. It's fine.
Dance track. I have it in my head. I have it in my
Okay.
head. I just have to remember the name of the song. I promise you I have it. I got it. Tame Impala, uh, Breathe Deeper.
I was not expecting Tame Impala. I love that.
Telling you, like, Tame Impala, Breathe Deeper is definitely a dance track. I feel like it's even like the cookout track for sure. Like, yeah,
Wow. Okay.
it's a great
Okay, I'm definitely adding that one to a playlist.
breathe,
Wait, what was the song called again?
breathe deeper.
Breathe Deeper. Okay. Okay. All right. Next moment is realizing you're in love. That moment when it hits you, I'm in love with this person. What song captures that feeling?
Some people are gonna hate me for this. Some folks are not gonna like this.
Uh-oh, we got a hot take.
I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan, but I'm sorry, the guy is a great songwriter. He really is a good songwriter. It would have to be Drake Shut It Down.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Not that I mean, I'm not a huge Drake fan for a lot of reasons, but at least it wasn't like Chris Brown. I was like, "Please don't say Chris Brown."
Yeah, and you know what? It just sucks, it sucks when you really get to, like, know the types of people these people are
Yeah,
talented, you know what I mean?
yeah.
There's also some Chris Brown stuff that I could get with, but yeah, it would have to be for sure Drake Shut It Down.
Okay, next moment is your "I don't care what anyone thinks" album. What song reminds you or album reminds you to be unapologetically yourself?
Sophie, man, give me one moment because the name of the album is because it was her only album, it was her debut album. Oil of Every Pearl.
Okay, by Sophie.
Yep. Sophie, Oil of Every Pearl album. Mhm.
Okay. That was another one you were quick to
Yeah. I was like, because she just was, rest in power to Sophie. Um, she was gone too soon. Didn't
Mm,
any freaking sense at all. Cause she really was on her way for sure. But um I just loved how she was experimental and she played around with sounds. Her playing around with sounds. It's hyper pop. It's hyper
okay.
pop,
Yeah.
electronic hyper pop, but I just loved her spirit and how she played around with sound. So yeah, definitely her. She's very unapologetic. Sure.
Okay. Love that. Okay, next moment is a quiet morning together. It's a Sunday morning. You're both just existing peacefully in the same space. What's playing softly in the background?
Okay, so I do listen to a lot of music that doesn't have words, like a lot of ambient
Mhm.
as well. So I probably would start my morning out with maybe like some Boards of Canada for sure. It doesn't have a lot of words to it. Probably even some Flying Lotus too. Some of the Flying Lotus stuff too.
Okay.
I probably would listen to that. Some Shigeto for sure too. Some Fortet as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it would kind of like be some of my go-tos.
Yeah, I love a good, like, instrumental or ambient music, sometimes it's like, I don't need, like, fully quiet, but I need a little less stimulation, and that's what I love about, like, instrumental or ambient music is it's nice for that, and a lot of ways, I feel like it helps me focus too, like, if I'm trying to do work or something.
Mhm.
Okay. Next moment, we have 2 left. So the next one is the song that tells your story. If you had to pick one song that captures your journey, who you've been, who you are, who you're becoming, what would it be? I know, how do you capture all of that in one song? I'd be like, "I need a playlist or something."
Feel like I'm still blooming in so many ways, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely have not peaked yet.
What are some songs like, we'll do you can I'll allow you to do multiple songs. What are some songs that maybe, like, come to mind for stages in your life?
I could think of some things that are just kind of like cultural moments,
Mm,
like, what was happening in those moments, like growing up. I know like in the 80s for me, one that stood out was Soul to Soul, Keep on Moving.
okay,
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that in Sounds of Blackness, Optimistic for sure. Things, yeah, just like there's another song too that was always my favorite too. Oh, goodness. I have the man's name. I love a lot of James Taylor. I know this is probably it might go over some of the audience's heads, but I do. I love, like, a lot of James Taylor's music.
Okay.
I couldn't really, like well, "Shower the People You Love with Love" for sure. "Shower the People" for sure by James Taylor for sure.
Okay.
I have the name, like, right
This is why I'm never good at trivia because it's like it's always on the tip of my tongue, but I can't for the life of me. It's so bad.
and I just, like and I'm constantly listening to stuff, you know?
Right. Right.
Bruce Hornsby in The Range, The Way It Is.
Okay.
That has always been one of my favorite songs. The piano on that is just the arrangement of the piano on that is so beautiful. So that's always been one of my favorite songs. And what is the other one that I've always really liked? Sailing by Christopher Cross
Okay.
has always been a favorite song of mine too, because like where I grew up in San Diego, we used to do
Mhm.
a lot of boating and stuff like that. And like that song just always really made me really happy. It reminds me of home. So, yeah.
Love that.
Yeah,
Great little playlist
yeah,
for the story, for the biopic.
yeah.
Okay, final one is celebrating a win. Something amazing just happened. You got a promotion, hit a personal goal, whatever it is. What is your celebration song?
Kendrick Lamar, TV off. Kendrick Lamar, TV off.
There we go. Ending with Kendrick.
That
Iconic.
that
Iconic.
whole production, the whole way, like, sounds like the college bands.
Mhm.
It's just like championship winning hype.
Period. Okay, and then final question. This is not part of the moments, but is there a song or an artist that you've discovered recently that you can't stop listening to?
Feel like I have quite a few actually. Yes, I've been listening to an artist uh by the name of Ghetto Kitty.
Okay. Ghetto Kitty,
Yes, Ghetto Kitty
iconic.
is on point. I definitely been listening to a lot of her stuff right now. Another artist too. I heard a song by the name of the artist. Her name is Charlotte Day.
Okay.
Charlotte Day Wilson. It's a song called The High Road.
I feel that name sounds it's one of those that's like, does it sound familiar to me or it feels like it sounds familiar to
Yeah, it's a beautiful song. I love the whole arrangement of it. I've been listening to another artist by the name of Gorshit. To been listening to them.
Okay.
It's Anicia Kim,
Okay.
an artist by the name of Anicia Kim. So Kim. So I've been listening to her too. Her stuff is really good. I believe she's from New York.
Okay. Nice. Love that. Yeah, I love discovering new music. There's some artists I've already discovered kind of like at the end of last year into this year that I've just been very much vibing with. There one of them is she goes by the name Blessing Jolie.
Okay.
She's Nigerian, but she's from I think she was like born and raised in Texas and she has this song called 20 Teens. 20 the number and then teens. Well, it's and I gotta watch the music video too because it's very much giving, like, early 2000s Avril Lavigne, but, like, black. Yeah, it's so good. And then there's another black artist, uh, from Tennessee. I think his family is Liberian, but he was born and raised in Tennessee goes by the name Monravia, and his album Bloodline just came out, and it's oh, I love the thing I love about both of those artists is that they are in genres that wouldn't necessarily, especially way back when wouldn't necessarily be considered black. But I love that Black people are reclaiming all the genres. So Monravia is more like folksy, but with very much very political themes, which I love. He's got a song. His most popular song is let me pull it up. It's called Heavyfoot, but one of the ones on his album that I absolutely love, like I listened to it on repeat, is called Somewhere Down in Georgia. So, so good. That whole album I've been listening to on repeat.
Got it locked in as soon as you were telling me.
You Yeah, so I love music. Okay, and then final question here is if someone wanted to understand you better, what's one song you'd have them listen to?
God, I feel like this song is definitely me for sure. John Mayer, Heavier Thing.
Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in such a long time.
Yeah. Yep. John Mayer, Heavier Things. That's the one right there.
Okay. Wow, that was not on my bingo card.
Yeah.
John Mayer was not on my bingo card, but I love it. I love such a wide range. And that's what I love about like audiophiles and people who are really into music because they have such a wide range of music and genres that they listen to.
Love it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, I don't actually care what genre is in. If I like it, if it sounds like, because I'm definitely one of those like I hear the music first before I hear the lyrics. I like feel it, and so I'm like, it don't matter. There are definitely like genres of music that I listen to more. Like you're not gonna really catch me listening to a lot of like country music. But if I find a country song that I really like, put on the playlist.
Yeah. There's a rare handful of country songs that like I genuinely do like and love.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's not necessarily the genre
Right, right.
I listen to all the time. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Amazing. We've come to the end of the interview.
Oh, we're chatty Cathy's, huh?
I know. I think this might be the longest interview I've had,
Yeah.
but it's been great. I have loved every moment of it. It's been such a pleasure to get to know you and talk with you about your experiences and all the things. I love that. I'm going to take that with me. The Chicago being such a romantic city. I love that cuz I wasn't born and raised here, but like this is home for me and I'm like I love that so much.
Trust me, it is. It's a very magical city, very beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Azra, it was so, so lovely to meet you and talk to you and get to know you. So much fun. So many good, good things that we talked about.
Very deep, very introspective, very deep, and very fun. Yes.
Great. I'm so glad you had a good time. I will be taking notes about all those music recs.
Wow.
Okay, and that is my interview with Azra. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. Check us out at EligibleIn.com and reach out to us if you want to be our next guest or if you'd like to nominate a friend to be a guest. We would love to have you on either way. You can email us at hello@eligiblein.com. Cool. Thanks for listening to Eligible In, a production of Eligible In Media. Our theme song is by Monster Rally. If you see someone you like on our show, or if you would like to nominate yourself or someone you love to be interviewed by us, please visit us at EligibleIn.com for more information, including a link to subscribe to our newsletter, where you can stay up to date on our newest episodes, as well as exclusive features of our eligible people.
Lovely.